Welcome to the Michiana Business Podcast, where we put local legends and businesses in the spotlight for everyone in our area to see. If you love small businesses and success stories, then you're in the right place. You're listening to the Michiana Business Podcast with your friends, hosts, and owners of industrial office cleaning right here in Michiana, Caitlin and Alonzo Perdomo.
Okay, so that's pretty good because I don't know if the concrete is hard, so I'm assuming it's gonna be walkable like 2 or 3 days, but you say 7 days, so that's a big thing to know because if you don't know that part, you start parking in your car, you're like, what happened? Then you gotta call you back and say this concrete messed up, but it's because they don't wait enough long to set it down. So let me ask you these questions. What do you think you recommend our people or whoever is listening to this? What kind of questions should they ask to a company to come in if they want to get an estimate from the concrete and then start looking like, oh, this company seems like they know what they're doing or they don't know what they're doing. What questions should be aware to ask to the company to make sure that they have the right company come to fix all poor concrete for them?
That's a great question. And I hope this answer suffices. When we, I think it starts with the communication from the very beginning, and so that would be either making a phone call to Geans Corporation or sending an email through the website asking for a quote. So I think it starts with there. We get all the time people say, hey, you guys were the only ones that showed up. You know, even if we were 3 weeks out, we still answered the phone and showed up. So I think that's the first thing. When I show up to do an estimate, my hair's fixed, I'm dressed nice, shirt's tucked in, I drive a nice truck, it's always clean. I think presentation is very important. And then the timely manner and that the estimate comes back to him. How much information was I able to give? And so in answering this question, I guess I'm telling what we offer. And so I guess maybe what you could look for. I know a lot of companies are different than what we offer.
Yeah, for sure.
On our proposals that we send over either through email or postal mail, we put quite a bit of information on those proposals of what we're going to do. We're going to haul everything off. We're not going to the concrete truck is not going to come on your property. It's going to stay in the street. We wheel all of our concrete with a concrete buggy from the street, whether it be a driveway, or we're going in behind the house. If we're going in behind the house, we're laying plywood down on the yard. We're protecting your home.
Awesome.
Construction zone. We understand that. We get that. But when we pull up on your job, we're going to treat your property like we would want our property to be treated. So that is putting plastic up over to protect from concrete splatter. That's something that you don't really think about when you're pouring. You're down. You're working on the ground. But concrete, when you're dumping it out of a wheelbarrow or a machine, it's going to hit the ground and splatter. Cleanup is so important, cleaning up the yard. There's just little things that sets us apart from, maybe other contractors. And some probably do it the same way we do, and that's awesome, but we just have a standard that we hold ourselves to.
That's very awesome because I'm going to share this little story. We hired somebody else for one of our properties, I think. I come home and the concrete was splashed in the door. I was like, wow, did this will come off? It didn't come off. So just by little simple things like you say, you put that system in place, there is why is there. And some companies, you don't realize, like, for example, like if you paint in a room, if you are no properly systems, you got to cover every single thing because painting is going to go everywhere. And it's the same thing with the concrete. And some people, they don't think it's that. So that's pretty good that you guys have all the systems in place. And for other people, they might be hiring somebody else. They're going to be like, I try to save money here. But really, is it worth it? Because it's going to be a headache. With that, when I say since I say that, when you start seeing the prices, why you recommend the guys to look for cheap, middle, or higher? If I'm gonna call you and you give an advice to a person that they want to hire a concrete company to pour it, what would you thoughts like? Hire the middle guy, the expensive guy, or the cheap guy? What is your thoughts in that?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'm going to say that our pricing is typically closer to the higher side because of what we offer, and the standards that we hold ourselves to. However, I've heard from multiple people that we're right in that range, that middle of the road range with other contractors. And so that's good. We're staying competitive with our competition. So that's good. I would be leery of extremely low prices. First of all, you need to get paid for what you do. Okay. Number one. And you're paying for what you get. Number two. But your lower prices, if you throw ours on a standard driveway, 16 by 50, if it's 7 or 8,000, I'm just throwing a number out there. And you get a price that comes in at like 4,000. What are they doing? Is my first question. Are they stacking the concrete up on site? Are they hauling it off? Are they putting wire mesh? Are they putting steel in? Are you getting a consistent 4 inches grade, not 4 inches, 2 inches, 3, 6 inches thick at the street? Are they putting a culvert in? Are they putting expansion against existing concrete? Are they caulking it? Are they sealing it? Are they hand tooling their joints? There's so many different things that go into that job. So you really have to compare apples to apples on that. And I would like to go back to some things that I was saying about protecting the home and all that stuff. Listen, it's construction and accidents happen. Some maybe a day a guy comes in and he's not full 100%, and his mind's not there because there's some other situations, and he forgets to wipe down something or etc. So stuff like that happens. And I guess maybe if I go into another part in that is we stand behind our workmanship. If something goes on that is not to our standard, we're going to work with you on that. We're going to take care of that. We're not going anywhere. I'm 4th generation, and I want to pass this on to my sons, my cousin, my brothers are all in the business. We take pride in what we do, So
that is awesome. That brings my other question. You guys offer any guarantees, like for example, something goes wrong? Because like you say, we have a good days, and somehow one of the team members is not feeling well, and he forgot to put something in there. The concrete goes bad. What kind of guarantees do you guys offer? Or you don't have any guarantees, or how does that work with you guys?
Sure, a great question. So there's 2 things that we can guarantee: it's going to crack, and nobody's going to feel it. Okay, so that's kind of a joke that we, when we're talking to clients. But we use Kurt Concrete, which is a family-owned business in our area. So shout out Kurt Concrete. They are incredible, and we've worked with them for many, many, many years. We have a great relationship with the guys over at Kurt. So we use a trusted concrete company, number one. They stand behind their product. So if we get a faulty product, we're going to call Kurt. They're going to work with us on the remedy of what to do with that. It's so hard to guarantee / warranty concrete because of the nature of concrete. Concrete is multiple products that are mined from the earth: sand, cement, limestone, water, other chemicals, etc. And so those concrete then is getting used to its new environment, and so you can get some cracking. But if the proper expansion joints, proper the base, etc., we can help minimize those issues. So Geans Corporation does not run from their work. if there's any issues, whether it be salt damage, cracking, any other types of issues, when you call us, we're coming out there. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to work with you on the remedy of what to do to make you happy, because we don't advertise. You won't see an advertisement from us, and we are looking at some different avenues right now, maybe radio and other things like that to help with the concrete maintenance side of things. But we want you to tell your neighbors, your friends about us, and that has been the most effective way of getting our name out there and doing the work. So.
That is. I was going to ask you that because I didn't never hear a commercial of you guys. I never. The only thing that I know is people talk about you guys, refer, and since we try you guys like already twice, and every single thing that you say, and you stay behind. You something goes, anything you guys have high notch. It's like I always say like when you wanted something cheap, you bring this other company like, okay, I want to save it back. But you really save money? No, you don't, because sometimes that company costs you more money because now we have to call James to repair it, and you're like, oh boy, now I pay that money, now I have to pay this guy again. So it's painful when you go through that, and it's natural for everybody. Like, oh, I want to save money, I want to save here, I want to cut here, I want to cut there. But in the long run, sometimes you get burned. I have many stories about that. Many people, they told me, oh, I was trying to save money here, now I had to call a really professional over here, and now it's cost me double. So for all the people that listen up there, always review you reviews that you have online, contact them, fill them. Let's see if they meet your standards. If they don't meet your standards, please don't quit. Follow you got, because you can't always tell you the truth. So with that said, Ryan, tell us a little bit behind how stressful it is when somebody calls off, because I'm sure everybody does. I'm sure have something like emergency and stuff like that. How do you guys handle that? How is stressful in there? Because a lot of people just see this beautiful products in the floor, it's done, but they don't see what is this behind, like stress, like keeping up with the schedule with the people, keeping up all that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how do you guys handle that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So most all of us are family. I believe there's only 3 of us that are not family. So, if someone gets sick or if they're going to be out of town, we try to make sure that our schedule is going to allow that. And so we'll, block out our vacation time, etc. But if somebody gets sick and they call in and we've got, 40 yards to pour that next day, because we're a smaller company, we've got five or six guys on the crew, on the main crew, and everybody's got their own, everybody can do everything on the crew.
Okay.
With, like finishing, setting forms, etc. However, each guy has also got what they're best at. So the guys that are screeding, the guys that are using a come along and grading it out, and the guys that are finishing, cutting grooves, etc. When one guy is missing, the whole crew feels it. And so, but those guys have the ability to step up. And so then at that point, if we're scheduled to pour 40 yards, maybe we only pour 20 yards that day. Maybe we don't get as much done as we were hoping we were going to get done. But we'll catch up. We all, and most all the time we will, because guys are stepping up and it's a team, if the quarterback's not there, it can be tough. Yeah, absolutely. And so with that being said, we are a seasonal company. All of our work's outside in this climate. We're getting shut down when it starts freezing and snowing, and we're not able to start working until the frost is out of the ground, for outside work. So, April 5th was our first day back with the full crew. So we want our guys to take a vacation in the summertime. And you might say, well, why is that? You're only working, that from April to November. And the guys are either are off or getting, whatnot through the wintertime. So they're getting a break. Yeah, we get that. But when you're in the summertime, it's 90 degrees out. It is hot, and you're working your tail off. We want you in July. Not the whole crew at the same time. So we schedule these out, but we want you to take a break. We want you to take a full week vacation. If it's a staycation, if you're going somewhere, we want you to take that time off because you have something to look forward to before that.
Yep.
And then after that, you come back rejuvenated and ready to hit it again. So those little breaks, and obviously, it's a paid vacation for the guys. We want them to enjoy themselves and come back refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to work again.
Yeah, I think everybody, believe it or not, I think we're like a kids, all right? And this is part of the life that you work so hard. But when you have like when you have like a present for the kids, you're like, oh, when you go to school and you come back, have this, and they look so hard to look for the gift that you're gonna give them. And it's the same thing with us. Like we work so hard, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to the vacation time comes so I can go and spend the time up there. And
Right.
Always you have to have something to look for.
Absolutely.
That's really good that you do that you think, that you care about your people that work for you, and very nice as a family. Most of you guys are family, but the other think this in there. I think it's your second family, even though if you don't think like, oh, they're no family, but it's the second family because
Absolutely.
take care of them. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. So let me jump in to the basement. You guys pour basements? You guys can do that? Can you handle that? How the difference the concrete from a side goes different side and like a garage or like in the basement?
That's a great question. So we do pour basement floors. In either whether it be an existing floor that needs to be poured or a new home floor that needs to be poured. We do some like room additions that are crawl space, so 4-foot walls, footings and 4-foot walls, and pour a floor in there. But typically we stay away from any new home construction. And new home wall, like 8-foot walls, 9-foot walls, because we're not set up for that. That's not something that's in our niche. We will do it by request. If there's a homeowner that's like, we really want you to do our work here, we more than likely would sub the walls out to a wall company that does that every day. First of all, it's more cost effective for the homeowner. And we're doing what we do best, and that is flat work. However, we do like loading dock type walls, and 4-foot walls for residential work. And I guess, if I may talk about basements under houses as well. So if you have an existing home and it's got a crawl space in it, and you want to expand your living space, storage, etc. We actually work with a contractor in the area that will raise your home, and that will allow us to come in and remove your basement crawl space, and then dig down and pour new foundation walls, whether it be block foundation or concrete foundation with block on top, and pour a new floor in the basement and give you a new basement. Now, some instances it doesn't make sense because it is a very expensive process. I mean, when you're lifting a home up and completely taking the foundation out of it, that's a big deal.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
So there's a lot of coordinating, a lot of time that's invested in doing that. So that's not something that we do every year because there's not a huge market for that. But we do that. We're actually working towards a project right now in Albion, Indiana, which is about an hour and 15 from us, that we're working to dig down and pour a new foundation, or they're talking about even moving the home about 100 feet back on the property, and that's like mind blowing.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's impressive at what can be done. So that's a long answer to your question.
Yeah, but let me take a little bit back and say this. In my opinion, I like the way that you say like, okay, I'm really good in pouring floor and the floor, not the walls. And you just mentioned I'm gonna bring somebody that's really good in pouring walls. So that says a lot about your company. Like, yes, I can help you. I can build that basement, but I'm gonna bring the right people to help me to get that project the way that you want. And instead, like, yes, I can do it. I can try it, and maybe end up really good, or maybe not. Well, I like the way that you say I'm gonna bring the specific people that does that every day and get it done the right way. So, guys, if you guys don't hire him, I'm gonna hire him again to do my house or whatever it takes. But I think that says a lot about our company that brings the right people, not just like try to get the money. And because believe it or not, there's a lot of people up there they do that, and I don't try to talk bad about anybody, but some people they do that. But that says a lot about your company, guys.
If you're in the Michiana area and would like to have us put your business or story out there for everyone to hear, sign up at MichianaBusinessPodcast.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.